Good Thursday evening to you. This is a late video. Sorry, Chase. I'm just now getting on this. But you can see here in the satellite image, satellite loop, in the infrared, we have this signature here. This is actually called a baroclinic leaf, and it's indicative of surface cyclone genesis currently taking place as forecast so far. Let's take a look at radar, and you can see that this precipitation field is expanding northward, and has expanded northward by this point, indicative of some phasing with the northern storm system, or the northern surface low, and the southern developing low across the southern plains and into the northwest Gulf of Mexico. So let's take a look at some forecast models right fast. So here is the GFS, and this is total snowfall from now until 7 p.m. Sunday or Saturday evening. And you're gonna see a common theme here. There's gonna be pretty tight gradient between where you'll see most of the snow and where you'll see more ice than anything else. So let's take a look at the current model. So this tells us, based upon the latest data that we have, what the current forecast looks like. So the Euro, that rain snow or ice snow line is really far to the south compared to the GFS, especially across Georgia and into South Carolina. The NAM, this is the latest NAM. You have barely anything in Charlotte, but upwards of 3 to 4 inches in Hickory. So very, very tight gradient there. But you have to keep in mind that some freezing rain and some sleet is cutting into the snowfall totals, especially along in the south of 85, as we'll see in a moment. But the HER also has a pretty tight gradient as well. So one thing that's pretty difficult to forecast is snowfall totals, because it is highly dependent upon moisture distribution and temperature distribution in the vertical direction. So here we have two model profiles, one from Hickory in purple and in red from Charlotte, both from the NAM and both from the 0Z run just a couple hours ago. And what's really eye-catching, I should say, is this area to the left of this dashed blue line. This first dashed blue line is the 0 degree mark. So anything to the right of this is above freezing, which means that once snow is formed higher up in the freezing levels, what we call the dendritic zone, falls into this warmer above freezing layer, melts, and then it refreezes. And it could fall as sleet, but if it doesn't have time to refreeze, it falls as liquid, and because surface temperatures are below freezing, it's freezing rain. And notice that, again, the red lines is the Charlotte profile, and it has a thicker warm layer than the Hickory profile in blue and purple. And this means that there's a thicker warm layer. It's above freezing, closer to the ground towards Charlotte than it is towards Hickory. So this means that there may be more ice, like freezing rain or sleet, mixing in to the snow, and more snow and sleet towards Hickory. So this is important because ice is very damaging. It only takes 1/4 of an inch of ice to do some major damage to trees and power lines and cause major disruptions in travel. The other thing is intermodal differences. So here we have the same location, in this case Hickory, but now the red is the NAM model and the purple is the GFS, both valid towards the height of the storm. Now notice that there is a warm nose in the NAM, but not in the GFS. So for, precipitation type forecasting, the GFS suggests all snow for the entirety of or at least until 7 p.m. tomorrow evening, while the NAM suggests maybe some sleet is possible in mixing in with that snow, cutting the snowfall totals. So again, the NAM is better at handling these warm noses than the GFS. So I would be more inclined to lean towards more sleet mixing into the snow and thus reducing some of the snowfall totals, especially across Charlotte, in between I-85 and I-40, particularly because of this warm nose that is forecast by the NAM model. Another aspect of this storm is what happens afterwards, especially across the foothills and Piedmont of North and South Carolina. There's a general rule of thumb that if there's at least 2 inches of ice or snow on the ground, and there's no warm air advection into the region, then you wouldn't forecast temperatures above 35 degrees. However, while we do not have warm advection per se, what we do have is northwest flow across the lower part of the atmosphere. And we can see that on a forecast profile from Hickory for tomorrow afternoon or Saturday afternoon. So here is the model profile from the NAM and Hickory. And notice that the wind barbs, at least in the lower part of the atmosphere, are from the west or northwest. And because of the mountain range here of the Appalachian Mountains, the west and northwest flow over the mountains actually does warm up the atmosphere. So when air goes up, it expands and cools off, and then when it goes back down, the bubble or the balloon or polyparcel will contract and heat up. So that's why the NAM is forecasting temperatures towards 40 in some places, where snow and ice have fallen. And that's our quote-unquote warm air advection. So if this verifies, this implies that the snow and ice would melt. And when it does melt and we get back into the low 20s and upper teens in some places, this will create an opportunity for black ice to be widespread across the foothills in Piedmont and the upstate of South Carolina and North Carolina. So even though this is going to be more or less a quick shot, it's not going to hang around all that much, this storm, and snowfall totals and ice totals Although damaging, it could be worse. The effects of the storm will last at least a couple days, at least into Sunday and perhaps Monday, depending upon the temperatures, Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. So this storm is currently getting its act together. It's already producing snow as far north as Missouri and Kansas, places that saw snow already from the last storm. But this is shaping up to be a very impactful storm across a wide range from north central Texas through the southern Appalachian Mountains. So if you know anyone in Tennessee, North Carolina, northern parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, upstates especially, and into the mid-Atlantic, let them know to prepare. Hopefully they've already made preparations at this late hour on January 9th. But yeah, y'all, thank y'all for watching. Y'all be safe out there, and I will see you in the next video.